Welcome my wonderful viewers. This is point 5 tutorial. I just want to give you this rundown before I go to the main bit of what we have today. So suppose you are giving this to simplify in sort. You write it root of 3 times root of 3, and you know that this guy is the same thing as saying 3 times 3 all in square roots, so which will give us square root of 9. And you and I know that 9 itself is a perfect square. Since 9 is a perfect square, it's about root of 9 is nothing but 3, so the answer is 3. Suppose you are given this to do, I say simplify root of 2 multiplied by root of 6. If you write solution here, you bring down the question, which is root 2 multiplied by root 6. So in this regard, you consider this root 6 is never a perfect square, and the root 6 also doesn't have factors. Or if you write down the factors of 6 rather, we have 1, 2, 3, and 6. These are the factors of 6, and in this list, there is nothing like a perfect square. So since there is no perfect square, you multiply it accordingly. So therefore, you discover that there is no need of writing bet here. So this guy implies that root of 2 multiplied by root of 6 is equal to 2 times 6 all in square root. We have square root of what? We have square root of 12. So once you get to square root of 12, let me clean the top to make room for this. Once you get to square root of 12, you then write, except that root 12 will be, well, it's not even bet anyway, so this 12, if I write down the factors of 12 here, it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. So from this, I can probably tell you that 4 is nothing but a perfect square. We'll write down 4. We'll look for another number that can multiply 4 to give us 12, and that number is 3. So therefore, it means that it implies that root of 12 is something as saying root of 4 times root of 3. You and I know that root of 4 is 2. So therefore, the whole thing implies that, let me clean up this, I don't want to confuse you. The whole thing implies that root of 4 multiplied by root of 3 will be the same thing as 2 multiplied by root of 3. So in this regard, it will be 2 root of 3. So if you punch this on calculator and also punch root of 12, or you punch root 2 times root 6, everything here, this, and this, will give you the same thing. So you have to be very smart and know how to go about this. In case you have not watched the introduction to sort, please do yourself good to watch that on my YouTube channel anyway. Okay, welcome. This is the second video, or second example. This is a second example rather. So you have been given this to simplify. I had to list everything down, but let me explain what I did here. In case you are given this type of problem to deal with, the first thing you do is you find the factors of each of these roots. So if you check here, this is root 80, root 20, and root 45. So I list down the factors of each numbers here. After this, the next thing is to, for each root or for each number, write down you have to indicate the factors. You have to indicate the perfect squares, forgive me. These two guys are the perfect squares. They're the perfect square that is to say 4 and 16. And for 20, the perfect square here is only 4. Write it down. And for 45, the perfect square here is 9. Bring it down. So since we must have gotten this, we have to ask ourselves, in this regard, since we get two perfect squares for 80, you select the bigger perfect square. So this guy, after selecting 16, you ask yourself, what will multiply 16 to give you 80? So that thing is 5. So 16 times 5 will give you what? 80. So in this regard, instead of writing this, you and I know that instead of writing this with 80, you see the same thing as saying root 16 times root 5. So these two things are the same. So all we need to do here is, instead of writing this root 80, we have to replace the perfect square alongside what? The non-perfect square. So this guy, which is root 80, is the same as saying root 16 times root 5 plus this guy is what? 4. We have root of 4 multiplied by root of 5 will give you nothing but what? Root 20 minus this guy here. 9 is the perfect square multiplied by root of 5 will give you the same 45. So in this regard, we are going to get, you know that 16 is a perfect square, so root 16 is 4 multiplied by root of 5. This guy, there is no need to take it because it's a non-perfect square, so leave non-perfect square in their various forms. So we have plus this guy root 4 is something as 2 times root of what? 5 minus root 9 is something as 3 times root of what? 5. This times this is 4 root of 5 plus this times this is 2 root of 5 minus this times this, we'll have 3 root of what? Root of 5. So we are not done here. I have to clean the above to make room for what we have here. Okay. So since I've made room here, we discover that this, let me take it up, we have 4 root of 5 plus 2 root of 5 minus 3 root of 5. So here we are going to factorize. But if you don't want to factorize, let us pretend as if we are not seeing this guy. If we pretend as if we are not seeing this root 5, root 5, root 5, because the root 5 are what we're supposed to factorize or factor out. So it will be, what we see, if you're not seeing this guy, you're only seeing 4 plus 2 minus 3. So let us separate it with brackets and put this guy there. We have to bring this guy. That's the essence of factorizing. I know the reason why I don't want to say factor out yet, because most of you may not know what it is. That's why I decided to let you guys to do what? To pretend as if you are not seeing root 5. So 2 plus 4 will give you 6. 6 minus 3 is 3. And this one will be 3 times what? Root 5, which is 3 root 5. So every damn thing will give you nothing but 3 root 5. So if you that me punch the existing punch the question given to you on calculator, and as well point this guy, both of them will give you the same thing. So when you're giving something like this, the first thing you do is to find the perfect squares within the factors of the numbers, after which you select the numbers that could multiply the perfect square to give you what is inside the roots. Okay, so the next question has to do with division anyway. So supposing I say simplify, square root of 35 divided by 5. So when you are given this type of thing, you just say solution. Let me bring down the thing. We have 35 all over what? 5 in square root. So this is very simple. All you need to do is 35 divided by this is root 7. So there is nothing else there. Absolutely, there is absolutely nothing to bother yourself with regards to that. This is the last example in today's video. If you are given this guide to do, the first thing you do is to bring down the question, which is root 12 in bracket root of 48 minus root of 3. So let me make you guys to understand one of the concepts in mathematics. If I give you A in bracket B plus C, it's the same thing anywhere you see brackets. As long as there is no plus, there is no minus, it means that multiplication is taking place there. The same thing as saying this A multiplied by bracket B plus C. So everything that happens means that A is multiplying whatever that is inside the bracket. So it will be A times B is AB plus A times C AC. So this is the answer. Supposing you are given A in bracket B plus C plus D to deal with. This guy will still be the same thing as saying A multiplied by B plus C, close the bracket, plus D. So this guy will only multiply what is inside. It has no business with D. So it will be A times B AB plus A times C AC. We bring that out plus D. So this is how the whole thing is. The A has virtually no business with D. So we can use this pattern or this scenario or this technique to solve the one below. So this guy will be root of 12 multiplied by bracket root of 48 minus root of 3. Okay, so we have this. Our interest here now is to reduce this 1248 to, okay, even before then, if I should go down, this is something as saying root of 12 times 12 times this, we have root of 48 minus 12 times this, we have root of 12 multiplied by root of 3, which will give us, the whole thing will give us is something as saying 12 times 48 all in square root minus square root of 12 times 3. I can put brackets here to help myself. It's not necessary, but I'm just trying to organize the whole thing. So the whole thing will be, you know that this 12 is something as saying 4 times 3. I have to select 4 here because 4 is a perfect square. So another way to go about it is to list down the factors of both 12 and what? 48. From there we get the perfect square from here. Also 48 is something as 16 times 3. So this guy will be, this implies that instead of writing 12, we can say 4 multiplied by 3 multiplied by, instead of writing 48, we can say 16 multiplied by 3. Now we pick this, put them in square root, still put our bracket to separate. Bring down this guy, open another bracket. This guy, which is 12, is something as saying 4 times 3 times another 3. You have to know that this 3 is different from this one because 4 times 3 will give us 12, which is the same thing. At the end of the day, we'll put our what? Square root and cover the word brackets. So this will be, if you take it this way, this times this will surely give you 9. This thing is just like saying 4 multiplied 3 times 3 is 9 multiplied by 16, or in square root minus this guy, which is, let me put my bracket, which is 3 times 3, we have 4 times 3 times 3 is 9. You put your normal square root and close it. I'm just trying to simplify. I can as well use a different technique, but whichever way, provided you are doing the right thing, you can continue. There's virtually no big deal with regards to that. So I'm just trying to give more room to this so that you get everything down. Now here we go. We discover that this guy will be, if you check here, this root of 4 times 9 times 16, everything in square roots, minus, we open another bracket. I'm trying to take this guy up, root of 4 multiplied by 9. So everything is something as saying root 4 multiplied by root 9 individually multiplied by root 16. If you can recall the operations of surd, the time I treated the multiplication of surd, I mean the operation of surd that has to do with multiplication. So minus, let us put our bracket to separate this, minus this guy, which is root of 4 multiplied by root of 9. So if that is the case, everything inside here is a perfect square. Root of 4 is 2 times root of 9 is 3 times root of 16 is 4. All of them are perfect square. Put our bracket minus. Root of 4 here is 2 times root of 9 is 3. So 2 times 3 is 6. 6 times 4 is 24. Minus 2 times this is 6. So this minus this is nothing but 18. So this is our answer. These are answer, virtually 18. Please, I have to thank you so far for subscribing to my channel, and also plead to you to subscribe more. For those of you that haven't subscribed, please help me out by sharing this video to friends. Make sure you get to the last man standing.